you go to Colombia, and it's aguardiente. Aguardiente is the drink, or ron. You go to Peru, and you got the pisco sours. Well, the Chileans think they developed the pisco sours, and the Peruvian thinks they developed it. So that's a constant war between Peru and Chile on the pisco sours. You go to Brazil, and caipirinhas. And the cachaça, yeah, that's where it comes from. So you drink caipirinha. Well, now they have caipiroscas, which is vodka and that. But cachaça, it's like a rum. It's a sweet drink. But we don't eat a lot of the same things. Believe it or not, in Peru, they don't eat enchiladas. From the Dominican Republic, one day, they said, oh, no, I'm not going to eat that. That's got to be really hot. Enchilar is to eat something really hot. So they think enchiladas are all hot. And no, they're not all hot. In Colombia, a taco is usually referred to as a stick of dynamite, un taco de dinamita. Well, it's like, okay, I don't think I'll eat that today either. We don't all samba, we don't all tango, we don't all salsa, we don't all merengue. A lot of the things, even within the Latin culture, are different, the way we do things. And a lot of it has to do with ancestry, and then you have Argentina. Is there anybody here from Argentina or Argentina? Then they're very different. Okay, Gustavo. Oh, you're not from Argentina. But, they have the Italian and the German and the French. That's why they have such good wine. The Italians really knew how to treat the grapes there, and you have some excellent wines, the Malbecs in Argentina. See that, and then there's one drink. That's common amongst all of Latin America. Beer, yeah. Almost everybody makes their own beer, but one liquor, one type of drink. What do you think it is? No, not all. The Mexicanos don't drink aguardiente. Rum is not as popular as this other one. Whiskey. U.S. or Irish whiskey. I mean, that's why Chavez wants to discourage people drinking whiskey because it comes from the United States. Discouraging Hummers because they come from the United States. But whiskey is pretty much across the board. Everything from Mexico to Argentina. And their whiskey is not what we call whiskey. Their whiskey is Scotch. Scotch. Our whiskey is you ask for whiskey and it's usually a bourbon, like a Jack Daniels or something of that sort. But when they say a whiskey, they mean a Scotch whiskey. But there you go. So there are a lot of differences even in the Latin cultures. But again, we have some of the same roots. Now, how did I express that to my coworkers at the company that I was before? I was with Continental for 30 years, the last 10 years as Vice President of Latin America. But through my own experiences traveling well, my first international trip, I was 14. I flew from Houston to Colombia. Had to make a connection in Miami and get there on my own. It was a scary experience at the time. Now that I look back at it, I don't think I would send one of my 14-year-old kids on a trip that long. But my parents figured I could do it. But I learned something in that trip. You don't have a lot of people to help you. And through my travel, one of the things that used to happen to me constantly, and I used to put on about 250,000 miles per year. That's how much I was traveling. I mean, we grew, Continental flew to 25 cities when I started 10 years ago, and when I left, we flew to 75 cities. So I've done 50 new cities in Latin America. We grew our revenues from 250 million at that time to 2.5 billion. So we grew a lot. I experienced a lot in that growth. But trying to explain to my coworkers, why we needed to do things a little bit differently. Everything from treating the customers, handling customers in their language. So what I did is I went out and I was the director of marketing when I did this. I hired an outside firm to come in and do a little analysis on what the public, mainly the Latino public, and I also did the Anglo market as well, but particular attention to the Latino, what the Latino liked and didn't like of U.S. flag carriers like the Americans and Deltas and Uniteds, what they liked and what they did not like, and then what they liked and did not like of the national flag carriers like the Aeroméxicos and Aviancas and Lanchiles and Aerolíneas Argentinas, etc. And in that research, one of the things that I found, no-brainer type of information, is, oh, we like for them to speak in our language. Oh, how innovative. Speak to the customer in his own language. But we didn't do it, and neither did the other U.S. carriers. Had nobody on board to speak Spanish. We kind of like the personal service. We like people to talk to. Everything we try to automate in the U.S. carriers, but the Latino carriers kind of knew that already, and they gave customers a little bit more personal attention. We like hot food in Latin America. We don't like necessarily the cold sandwich. Well, nowadays, if you get anything, you're pleased. But at the time, everybody had food. At the time, pretty much all the airlines have food. But today, you don't get, some of them don't even get pretzels. Some airlines, not even pretzels. They've cut pretty much everything off board.
Because of the allergies.
Yeah, the peanut allergy. Another thing, we like to travel with lots of baggage. You know, and for the Anglo, and believe me, this is one of my greatest long-term challenges working with our vice president of operations on how can we get all of this baggage on an airplane. Well, most people don't know that an airplane is designed to only carry 1.7 bags per person. On a full airplane, even though they used to let you check, this is another thing, they used to let you check in 2 free bags. But the airplane couldn't carry 2 bags per person. We were betting that somebody would walk on with a carry-on only and not check any bag, or check in only 1 bag and not 2. So we kind of played that game. But on the Latin flights, it wasn't just 1 bag. And people said, well, why do they have to travel with so much luggage? I said, well, because you can't go home empty-handed. You got to have a gift for grandma, a gift for grandpa, a gift for the uncle, you have to take back gifts that you work all year to save money to take back those gifts and things. Or one of the things that I used to do in marketing, and particularly in Mexico, was you encourage people to come shop in the United States. It was a reason to buy an airplane ticket. Why? Because a lot of the goods that we have in the United States, they don't have there. Or if they have them, they had to import them, and they had to pay high import taxes, so the price is now double. Then you have the availability, or the different kinds of products. Yeah, you may get